Assalamu alaikum. It's me, Salam Sabi, and I'm just making this video, this vlog, excuse me, video blog, um, to basically ask sisters to stop being so critical of each other and stop nitpicking at every single thing they see, especially on how sisters dress. I find this to be very disturbing when I go on pages like Muslima to Muslima and all these other Islamic pages, especially when they have hijab tutorials. I understand the point that a woman should never show, certain parts of their body. But I can say for a fact that watching those videos have actually helped me, especially with learning how to wear hijab and all those other things. Some people may say, well, who cares about learning how to wear a hijab? Well, if you're walking around and your hijab is slipping off, yeah, that's not good. And people will say, well, just find another sister. Well, sometimes you don't have access to another sister. So these videos have actually helped a lot of sisters, to learn how to properly wrap their head. And another thing I appreciate about these videos is that it's showing you, it's breaking the stereotype of the oppressed Muslima. It's breaking the stereotype of the extremist. It's breaking the stereotype of the radical. It's not feeding into the docile Muslim woman who gets beat by her husband every night. These sisters are not feeding into stereotypes. And it just shocks me that people will go on there and view these videos and make comments like, sister, you shouldn't play music. I think they know that. Most Muslims know that. They're doing that because they want to. You know what I'm saying? It is their salvation, and you don't have to watch the video if you don't want to. Nobody, just like nobody is forcing you to listen to my video. If you don't like me, there's the X button. That's actually how I've always seen it. And now I have seen some videos where they did take it a little bit too far, and some of the comments were not written properly. They were very harsh and very rude. And the way I see it is that the whole world is against Muslims. So why would you go on YouTube and attack your own sister? I believe that a lot of sisters are also jealous. I mean, I hate to say it, but they're probably living in a situation, or they've chosen a certain sect of Islam where they cannot express themselves properly, and now they're taking out their anger and their ridiculous critiques on YouTube. I've had sisters tell me that I should wear niqab. I've had sisters tell me I should wear all black. I've even had sisters tell me, oh, I can't show my feet. I've had sisters tell me that, oh, you should stay home. We're our worst oppressors. I'm not saying all, but some Muslim women, we are our worst enemies. We have some of these, not all of them, because some of these sisters are not beautiful. They are showing off a little bit too hard and just getting a little bit ridiculous with it. But I'm not speaking of those sisters. I'm speaking of sisters who are there and presenting Islam in its truest form. Islam is not an oppressive religion. Now, they may be breaking rules in how to dress, but I don't think they're breaking rules with their intentions. Because, one thing about Islam, it's about your intentions. And I know people are going to say, well, sister, it's more than that. Muslima must cover blah, blah, blah. I'm about to be 100% real with you. Do you know how many different ways people cover? I'm not saying that it's Islamic, because women in Iraq, in Pakistan, in Saudi Arabia, in Indonesia, in Jordan, in Kuwait, they all, in Egypt, everybody has their own style of wrapping their heads. In some countries they don't wear bright colors. In some countries, like, I think the prettiest hijabs come from Indonesia because they're so colorful and they're so pretty, and the sisters are allowed to freely express themselves. It's just very shocking when grown women go on YouTube and find every problem with your video. I even read one comment where a sister said to another sister who made a YouTube video, "Sister, you know that you're beautiful. Why are you making YouTube videos and wearing makeup?" Do you know this sister? Do you know her? And I especially find it offensive when men comment, okay, why are you watching a sister's video? Why are you allowing that lust to build inside of you? Why are you going on these sisters' videos and lusting after them? You know, I think one thing that needs to be made very clear to a lot of brothers, you need to control yourselves. Just like sisters have to control yourselves, you have to control yourself. And it's just beyond crazy to me that someone will sit there and comment on something that they shouldn't even be commenting on in the first place. How are you a man and telling a sister how to wear her hijab? You know? And I'm sorry, just because you dress the part doesn't mean you play the role. Okay? and some of us Muslims know what we're talking about at this moment. That there are sisters who fully cover and are a completely different person behind closed doors. They're a completely different person once they leave the masjid. I'm not speaking of all sisters, because I believe that the majority of sisters are striving to stay on their deen. I'm speaking of a few sisters who are the first ones to criticize. The biggest hypocrites are the ones who are fornicating, drinking, you know, doing all types of wild stuff, but they want to go on YouTube and just judge. And then you have the sisters who prefer to practice the most extreme form of Islam, and then they get mad at other sisters and want to sit there and haram, like the haram police in certain Middle Eastern countries, and wave their finger in your face when they need to realize that this religion does not mean to put any burden on you. If you want to walk around in all black and act a fool, then that's you. Nobody is making you do that. So if you prefer to run with a certain sect that is more strict, don't get mad, you know, at a sister who's doing her best to practice her deen. And I think we failed to notice that just because a sister is a hijabi does not mean that she does not have her own individual personalities. I think when people think about Muslimas, and for those who don't understand Muslim women, they think about a docile woman who speaks very low, is very depressed, stays at home, and they're actually combating that negative image of Muslim women that were basically punching bags for our husbands, that there is no joy, there is no color, and there is no diversity in Islam. Do you know how many different ways, and I repeat again, that people wear their hijabs? Okay, go to India. A lot of them don't even wear their hijabs tight. I hate to say it, but culture does play a role in how you wear your hijab. Like in Africa, oh my goodness, like in West Africa, the sisters will have their arms exposed, their neck, they'll wrap their head in these thick like hijabs, or like many of the African American Muslims, they'll wear it in a more pinned to the back. and it's all cultural. Am I saying that it's acceptable? No, but I hate to say it, but culture does play a role in Islam. Okay? It does play a role. Excuse me. And I think we need to understand that. You know, it just shocks me how people are so worried about how people dress. You know, when you have no idea what that sister is going through, you have no idea if she makes her prayers 5 times a day, you have no idea if she's gone to Hajj, you have no idea if she gives zakat, you have no idea that what she is doing in her life. She may be a better Muslim than you, and she's not even as strict as you are. Okay? She may be a better Muslim than you, and yes, I just said it. She may be a better Muslim than you. She may be more Islamic than you. Because wherever there is a strength, there is a weakness in each individual. I'm not saying people can't change, but it just really upsets me when I watch these videos and people are acting crazy. They're nitpicking, or they're making video responses, you know, calling people out of their names, or taking other sisters' videos and taking the pictures and then putting that in their video and then saying, oh, that sister's clothing is haram. Who are you to sit there and to... Videos are supposed to be somewhat educational about Islam, or to bring some type of view or something. When you make a 10-minute video about criticizing how a certain sister on a certain YouTube page dresses is beyond, that is ridiculous, and that is just straight evil. I just believe that certain sisters just have so much time on their hands that they just decide to harass other sisters on the internet. Life is what you make it. Okay? Life is what you make it. If you want to sit there and be miserable and harass other sisters on YouTube, then that's your problem. You have issues and you need to deal with that. I think it is so beautiful when I see how different Muslims are living their lives. And yeah, they may dress in a certain way that I don't like. They may even have an opinion that I don't necessarily agree with. But I'm not going to go and write a scathing comment. Oh, sister, your arms are showing. Oh, sister, your shirt, people have the sister, you have on lip gloss. Sister, you have on makeup. Sister, you have nail polish. That's something that really irritates me, is when people talk about nail polish. How do you know that she's not on her cycle? I mean, why would you send somebody, well, maybe they just don't know. Believe it or not, most sisters know when they're not doing something properly. Okay? We want to tax somebody on the way they dress. Why don't we talk about these cultural issues going on within Islam? Why don't we talk about things that are not Islamic that are affecting the image of Muslims? Okay? I'm more worried about if a sister is making her 5 prayers than if her hijab is showing a little bit of her hair. What are you more worried about? The hijab showing a little bit of hair, or being too colorful and haram, or her making her 5 daily prayers? Especially for reverts, change takes time. And I think that's something people don't realize. You just don't jump into Islam and change. Change takes time. And sometimes people become stagnant. And they need someone, not your negative comments, but someone, usually someone who is there in person, not on the other side of the computer talking junk, but somebody there in person who can show them how to properly do it. By you criticizing them, you're not doing anything. You're just making Muslims look more extreme and crazy. Okay? Well, my time is up, and assalamu alaikum. And if I offended anyone, get over it. But I still love you for the sake of Allah.